Okay, guys, here's the deal. I go live on Mondays and Thursdays to go ahead and basically answer questions related to Social Security disability benefits. It's late. It's 1:34 a.m. Wednesday, July 30th, so early morning. I've got to wake up early too and go work with the homeless in Orlando, East Colonial area. So what we're going to do is we're going to do about 15 minutes. And I know that a lot of people aren't going to be calling in because it's super duper late. I'm going to try and do these earlier. It's been tough. There's been a lot of briefs and work and things like that. So I've been trying to get everything done and kind of keep all motions rolling. With that said, I'm going to go through the basic rules. I'm going to put the phone number right now into the chat area. Phone number to call in is 407-279-1754. Here are some of the basic rules. Don't question stack. I can't definitively give you a perfect legal answer because I don't know the whole legal situation. You're not going to be able to tell it to me perfectly. You know what I mean? Also, don't use your real name throughout the process. Use a fake name. When you go through this, don't go into story mode. Have your legal question ready. Okay. You get about 5 to 7 minutes per call. We're going to do about 15 minutes. So it's going to be probably about 3 callers, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. When it comes to answering questions, please remember to keep it to Social Security disability law and not so much when it comes to essentially, other stuff like, workers' comp or investment strategies for tax stuff or Medicare, because that's just not my gig. Now, with that said, we're going to go ahead and kick it off and see if anybody calls in. I know it's super late. It's 1:35 a.m. It's extremely late. So we're going to go ahead and basically see if anybody calls in for this video. I don't expect anybody will, but we'll go ahead and begin the process right now for the 407-279-1754. Now, the way it works, just so you know, is if nobody calls in because it's super duper late, I count from 10 down to 0. And at 0, if nobody calls in, I go to bed. So here's the basic thing. We're going to go ahead and begin the process. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Never mind. Here we go. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Hi, this is Marie. How are you?
Very good, madame. How can I help you?
Yes, I'm curious. I am a workers' comp disabled, and I have a unaccepted anxiety claim that I'm hoping to file for for Social Security disability and long-term disability. Is that something that can go hand in hand? I'm in California.
Sure. So what you want to look at is Google Social Security listing 12.06 for what they're looking for anxiety. Keep in mind for anxiety, they're usually looking for people who have to go inpatient at a mental facility, every 6 months-ish, sometimes less than that, for a couple of days. They're looking for people who have struggled with finding medication that actually works with failed medication after failed medication. They're looking for people who don't, stay in the bubble, who try to basically find a job and then get fired, and then try to find a job and get fired. They're looking for what's called failed work attempts, or FWAs. And failed work attempts are where you get fired because you're unable to, even with your medication, even with your therapy, to go ahead and keep a job.
So my question is that I was assaulted by a patient when I was working, and it triggered the pre-existing PTSD.
Sure.
And so then it's been very difficult to get through. Since then, my other, I've had mental health issues my whole life, and I did apply for Social Security disability insurance, I think in 2023, and I was denied, but my mother died, and then I couldn't do anything. I couldn't get anything together, and I couldn't file the appeal. I tried, and it all went down. So I eventually ended up working, and I had several different jobs, and this is the last job since then. And I also was received door benefits, for school. I was trying to do school, and now I've failed school several times. So is that something that would be kind of cumulative show?
So what is it that you really want to show to prove? Well, okay, give me your version of it.
Well, my version of it is right now I'm I can't even leave my house most of the time, and without extreme fear, anxiety. I'm super startled by everything, loud noises or cars driving by. So just to be able to have to go back to work, at least, right away is like not really an option that I can feasibly feel comfortable doing. Maybe long term I could, but I just, like right now, there's no way.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's say, for example, we take a moment and, you're in the bubble. You're staying in the house, you're not interacting with things, etc. You're not really finding new jobs. You're just staying away from everybody. You're able to do that because you get the check every month. Do you feel that that situation is going to create evidence that the administrative law judge is going to be able to use to get you found disabled?
No, it's not that. I'm also seeking, like, I'm getting care, like, online, getting mental health care. And I have a
Online.
mental health,
Yeah.
and I'm doing everything like through my mental health provider.
Okay.
And I've been on medication, and none of the medication is helping me right now.
So if the medication's helping you, then you're not going in the direction of becoming more severe. You're becoming less severe. And if you're doing it online,
No,
yeah,
uh-huh.
yeah. So, but if you're doing it online, then it's usually through a master's level provider as opposed to a doctorate level provider, such as an actual psychologist, a psychiatrist, or behavioralist. So, are you working with a therapist, or are you working with like an actual doctor?
I'm my psychiatrist I've had since 2017.
Okay, so that's good. So, real quick, when was the last time that you worked with her in person, though? Because the judges tend to look for that for mental impairments.
In person, I haven't, because I moved out of the area, and I couldn't like physically drive because of my injury.
Okay. So let me ask you this: when you moved out of the area, well, how long have you been with this one individual?
This one doctor since 2018. I'm sorry.
Okay, so that's way too long to have the same mental doctor because at the end of the day, they can steamroll that doctor's opinion by having their CE doctor with, same, psychiatrist, psychologist,
Yeah,
etc. Yeah, in a CEME provide a differing opinion. You have to have
right.
multiple opinions. So, what I
Got
always
it.
say is like every 2 years, you could have a new psychiatrist, psychologist, behavioralist working with you.
Okay. Yeah, I've had new therapists, but not. I've always had the same doctor through my managed care provider,
Mhm.
Kaiser. But okay, then I am switching insurance companies because I can't afford the
Sure,
insurance anymore.
sure.
So I'm gonna have a whole new provider, and I decided that it might be better for me to go through the county. I go through Orange, the county that I live in, um, to see a specialist or like a therapist there.
Mhm.
Do
Yeah,
you
you can.
recommend that? Because yeah, okay,
But,
because they do the
remember,
testing and everything too.
yeah, just remember, like, you're probably not gonna get access to a doctorate level individual. It's probably gonna be like,
Okay,
master's level providers. Your
got it.
goal, just so you know, is to have 2 doctorate level mental providers complete 2 RFC forms that have the right things written
RFC.
down. Yeah, residual functional capacity forms have the right things written down to provide that you're unable to work in the national economy. That's your main
Got
goal
it.
here. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Okay. All right. That's really helpful.
Absolutely.
I can go that direction, and if I need more help, I know. Are you licensed in California?
Oh, I have claimants all over the place. So for disability law, it's federal. So like, yeah, I can, I have claimants in the South China Sea, Australia. I have claimants all over the place. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love watching. I love watching you. I've been watching you for several years now, so it's
Thank
really great
you.
that I got a chance to call in.
Oh,
Thank you
excellent.
so much.
Well, thank you, madam. I will catch you
Yeah.
later and you have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Thank you. You too. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Perfect, perfect. We're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna call this next person right here who called in. Let's get him rolling. Let's see what we got here. Okay, here we go. Speaker is on. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember, he's a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question?
Yes, sir. Hey, Attorney Walter. Um, when if you go on like an investigation and you've passed you passed all your reviews or your last DDS review, but they're still sort of trailing you locally where you live. If you go to a local doctor or you go to get blood work
Well, at that
3 to
point, they
5 miles
wouldn't.
down the road.
Yeah, they wouldn't. They wouldn't be spending the money on you because remember, it's expensive to send somebody out to investigate you. So if they finish a DDE, as their report or an ROI is reviewed and part of the DDE, at that point they pull back because they don't want to spend the money. Yeah.
Yes, sir. How do I get a copy of the ROI?
Mhm.
I haven't got through to the local field office because they cut back on so many people. But to get a copy, I got the DDE, but I do not have the ROI.
Mhm. So the ROI, if it exists, you would go ahead and send in basically a FOIA request. But if they don't have it, they're not going to be able to go ahead and provide it. So first thing is you really have to, go ahead and submit that and request it. Now, if they ultimately don't have one and it just doesn't exist, but you think there is for some reason, then you can always, request an attorney go ahead and request it or get access to the ERE part of your claim. But I mean, bottom line is, they'll usually send off an ROI if the investigation is complete, related to essentially what, you basically were investigated for. And then after that point, you're pretty much good to go. It is what it is. And, but again, remember the ROI is a moment in time. If they did it where they investigated you, usually for like, a 2-week period or a month or even longer. But point is, I'm not totally certain in your particular situation that you've essentially gone through the ROI because I think previously we talked and you said that you did submit a FOIA, and if they didn't send it out at that point, you could always submit another FOIA. But I'm not totally sure that they actually have done a CDR investigation on you.
Okay, CD. Okay.
Mhm.
I was told back when they first started my review that for the DDS review, before they cut back on their staff locally, a guy there did echo that he saw that I was under investigation by OIG, and that I was going through a CDR, is what he said. And then I did fill out 2 FOIA requests online, about 8 months apart, and they never got back with me to tell me if I was under investigation or not. The last question is if I am under some type of investigation by OIG, is that completely all from a local source, and all their law against SSDI claimant, is that all through a local, like where I live, source? And do they ever have to get the home office in Baltimore, Maryland to like sign off on the warrants?
Well, I mean, if they wanted to do further searches, like warrant-based searches, then yeah, I mean, they'd have a specific judge that they go to that's part of the system for reviewing essentially what they've collected on you to be able to seek further information by allowing these searches. So, but man, this does not sound like, you've already submitted twice. It doesn't sound like you got an ROI back. It doesn't sound like you went through that level of investigation. Might have been a smaller one, but not a full CDR ROI report creation investigation.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Now
my thinking was like trackers on cars, and then them having the ability to like listen to my phone calls.
Now
tapping the phone.
I'm gonna pop to the next caller, but I will catch you later. You have a wonderful, wonderful night. Okay.
You too. Thank you, Walter.
Thank you, good sir. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Okay, we have the next caller right now. Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question?
Yeah, first, just basic how I changed my identity.
Okay.
Second, on all these tariffs, we're getting billions and billions and billions of dollars for other countries. And Trump got in office, and he's going to drain this swamp and bless his people. And he's done the opposite, I feel. I mean, we are the unfortunate group, and even the Bible tells you. I mean, he claims to be a Christian, and it's sad. And when we get a piece of mail in the paper, or I'm sorry, in a piece of mail in the, I'm sorry, a piece of paper in the mail from the government, we have panic attacks. We freak out. We can't live. We can't do anything. It took me personally, it took me a day to log in. And then I had to take papers over. I got to walk. I got to get rides. And,
real
like
quick, what is a legal question? Yeah, just hit me with that.
Okay, legal question. Can he just do what he did to the federal government employees to us, pick us off a disability, and let us die? I mean, is that a legal question?
Can he fire Social Security disability recipients like he did the employees of the SSA? No. He can't just fire them. When what you're saying is removal of benefits. So last time Trump was in 2017, the main thing that they did that kind of like messed up Social Security benefits was the appeal option through the commissioner at that point, who basically made it so that a lot of our options for appealing when it comes to weight of the evidence, how much weight of evidence was given to your medical provider, how much weight of evidence was given to their medical provider. They basically changed the rules so that their medical provider would have very equivalent standard of review, and we couldn't bring those arguments of appealing to make sure your medical evidence provider, was basically worth what they were supposed to be worth in the consideration, the weight of the evidence, the weight of how much they should be considered. So to be fair, could Trump make it so that people have a much harder time getting onto disability benefits? Yes. But for those who are already on disability benefits, the rule is, and the rules is going to change, that you have to adjudicate them under the rules that existed when basically they were found disabled. However, what's going to worry you, and which is true, is that they can change the rules for how often they review you. And so, they can go ahead and have AI artificially, review and scan all your medical documentation, everything that's on the web, and decide from there and give, description, understanding, whatever. Basically, they can put you through a lot of reviews, and that's going to obviously cause you some very, very strong stress. So yeah, Trump could do that. He could go ahead and create additional categories that would force review and use AI to scan a lot of the people who are already on disability claims and seek evidence against them that would show that they're not truly disabled and start to pick them off as if they were fraudsters. So to be fair, yeah, he could do that, but that's not firing people like an employee. That's reviewing them and finding evidence that they are not disabled under the rules and regulations. And remember, there's a lot of disabled people out there who were found disabled 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, where they got a bunch of photos of them smiling and partying and having a good time on Facebook and doing a bunch of that stuff. And that's just, it's not a good look for them as a disabled person that the federal government pays because they can't work in any capacity to the level of a full-time job. So, I could see that happening. That I could see happening. A lot of CDRs. But I look, I'm going to be honest with you. When Trump got in, the CDR levels, I seem to get more CDR calls. Through Biden's administration, got a ton of CDR calls. Even though they stopped CDRs for a while, people were constantly asking me questions about what happens during them. So the fear of them is definitely ramped up. And then, of course, when Biden's left, or right at the very end of Biden's thing, going into 2025, CDRs were heavily, heavily ramped up. It was kind of like it was a smart thing the Democrats did to make the Republicans look like they were trying to fire everybody that was on disability benefits, as you put it, by putting them through CDRs and freaking them out. So the Biden team basically set it up so that massive amounts of CDRs would occur post-COVID, right when Trump got in. So, I mean, it was a smart maneuver. It was a political maneuver. But, remember, for some of those COVID years, they just didn't do CDRs, or they greatly reduced CDRs. So, people are due for another review under their old system, and they're going to do them, and they're going to go through them. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. That makes a lot of sense. It clears up a lot of things for me.
Yeah, absolutely. But
And
yeah.
that,
Perfect, good sir. Well, I will catch you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
it's just scary. I mean, I'm not worried about myself. I just love people.
Sure.
I mean, I got out of the hospital for 7 days in a mental hospital. I was in the hospital for in the Biden administration. I got a CD or whatever you call it, review. And I sent in my documentation. It took me a long time. I finally just called my doctors and they didn't even review me. I mean, back then I just got out of the hospital and I'm just scared. I mean, I don't understand this. You know, he's getting all this money from terrorists. I don't know what he's allocating, what he's doing. It makes zero sense to me. I understand there's people that's rotten and stuff like that. But, you know, we have good days, have bad days. There's nothing wrong with us to go celebrate at a party and have a good day and put it on Facebook. You know,
there is.
Biased.
No, there is. There's a huge issue with
that.
that.
Facebook, and you can make a freaking decision on my Facebook.
No, man. No. There is a huge problem with that. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be showing that you are in a happier. You shouldn't be showing like I have ROIs where I read and I see, you know, the pictures of people basically posting celebratory whatevers where they're at, you know, they're playing pool or they're at a bowling alley or, you know, basically, man, I see all that stuff. You can't do that stuff. If you're disabled, it means you're not able to.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, so.
You know, I was always taught, even as an executive, you know, you manage by fact, you manage by data. You don't manage by opinion. You don't manage by looking at something. You know, my whole body's tore up. My mind is freaking crazy. I've been through hell and back. You know, I'm trying my best to go back to work. And, you know, it's just hard. It's so hard. And when we're trying to do something, we get a letter from the government. It sets us back about 100 steps.
No, I hear you. I just, you know, man, don't post that stuff online. Like, they literally use photos like that where you're having a good time. Because on one, you're claiming you can't be around others, you can't interact with bosses, coworkers, friends, or family, and there you are out at, you know, family fun event having a great time. Like, you can't do that. The standard of disability is that you have to be unable to do those functional tasks. You know, for things like anxiety, depression, you know, panic attacks, PTSD, etc. Like, that's why you get the check. It's because you can't go interact with people, among other things. Yeah. So, yeah. But all right.
I appreciate your insight, your intellect. I've followed you for a long time, and it's the first time I ever commented. I appreciate you. God bless you, man. I mean, you're great. Go help the homeless. You know, we as disabled Americans, we appreciate you.
Thank you, good sir. Absolutely. You know, and that's kind of the thing, is that I keep getting pulled towards the political side, and I don't want to do the political thing, but I keep getting pulled to that side. But I have all these strategies that could fix a lot of this stuff. Because, you know, I've lived in the system. I've lived in the hearing rooms. I've lived with the claimants on how to beat the system so that it doesn't beat them. And, you know, the weird thing is that when I talk to, and I mean, this is going to sound kind of like, I don't know, it's just going to sound kind of bad, but when I talk to a lot of politicians about this stuff, they want to know how it works. But when they get off the phone with me, they don't invest the time to know how it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it 100%.
Yeah.
Right on target.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but
my advice to you, I mean, if you want to take it from a disabled person, stay true to your heart and stay the heck away from politics, because it's the devil's author of confusion, and that is confusion. And you want to talk to people that's hurting, that can't afford to eat, and can't afford to have a car. When you, as an executive, driving BMWs, now you're so bad off, you know, you can't even live. And, you know, it makes you just can't. Okay, so you got to die. You can't even have a Facebook, you have an Instagram. You can't even buy like gold and silver as you save money. You can't build wealth. You can't do nothing. It's totally bizarre to me and we get treated like we're dumb. I got a really wealthy family, but I had people come up to me and say, "Well, you're just not contributing to society." You know what that makes me feel like? It makes me feel like putting a gun in my mouth and blowing my freaking head off. But I can't do that. I've got beautiful kids. I got a son graduating college as a doctor. I got a daughter graduating as a nurse. What happens if I'm with them and I have a good day and I want to post things on Facebook? I mean, I'm going to continue. And I don't care if they kick me off. I don't. But God bless you for what you do and your team. And if I could, I'd support you. I'm going to start giving you money every month. And
no, spend it on your family.
Bro.
Spend it on your family. Have fun with the family. Just, do me a favor. Just put the filter on what you allow online. And remember, if they get a warrant, they can get to the back end. So just, and remember, just from this video, I'll have people call the law firm and attack me. I get people on the left and the right attack me for different things. The left usually call and scream at me. The right will call me and say, "How dare you teach them how to cheat the system?" And I get shit from both sides. Yeah. And yeah, I guess what
block that crap. I mean, you got to be educated on what's going on, of course.
Yeah.
You're one of the best attorneys I've ever met, besides my attorney that got me a disability.
Sure.
I didn't have to do anything. I mean, I was hurt bad and things went crazy. I lost my wife. I lost so much stuff.
Yeah. So
I got it immediately.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good. So what I would say is this, enjoy the time, have fun with your family, spend the money on doing things with them. Just go ahead and be aware, cameras, videos, stuff like that, when it gets posted online is not your friend. A big thing that popped up with one of these ROIs is going on roller coasters. Obviously somebody with anxiety would have a difficult time with roller coasters. So just be aware that's something that kind of pops up. And I know you want to have fun with the family. I totally get that. Just be aware, that there is a system that's about to get really smart about who, what, when, and where, when it comes to basically, collecting data. But let me get this next caller. I will catch you a little bit later. Good sir. You have a wonderful, wonderful night. Okay.
God bless you.
Thank you, good sir. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay, final caller of the night. Oh, wait. I don't know what just happened there. I'm going to wait for that person to call back. See if we can do a quick call. Wow, massive. There's a person at your studio office door. Well, that is interesting. Hold on, let me see what's going on here. Nope, it's a cockroach. Cockroach is at the studio door. That's awesome. Super duper. It is Florida. They're all over the place. Okay, let me get rid of this real quick. Let me go back to this real quick. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Can you hear me okay? And remember to use a fake name throughout this process.
Yes, I can hear you, Attorney Walter.
Perfect.
I have an interesting question. I've been watching you for a while, and I have a pension, military pension, and VA disability. My wife is on SSI due to a accident, and we have a son who just graduated high school, and he's intellectual disabled. He has an intellectual disability.
Yeah, I got you.
And we're trying to figure out would he qualify for either SSI or SSDI, and what route do I need to take, or we need to take? And do our incomes also will our incomes be considered when that's in his case?
Yes. So what they do is a deeming exercise. Some things aren't considered incomes. They're considered like, other than that, they're like a pension or this or that. And some things, are considered that are countable. Some things aren't considered and they're not countable, but they will do what's called deeming as part of the 3-step sequential process, which are the elements that they use to decide if a kid claim is going to go through. And the main thing is, what is the child's IQ level? Like, what was the child measured out with the IQ?
That I'm not 100% sure. He did successfully complete high school, but with a deferred diploma. So, you know, he never been diagnosed, and I didn't know if that's something that we should have just went ahead and did, so we can know exactly what it is. Just his IEP has always been intellectual disabled with he's had speech for the most part of his school. But we also know that, like, I can't give him 2 commands at once. That it'll overwhelm him.
Yeah.
You know, if someone starts, yelling at him or anything, he'll shut down. So we know he can't go into the workforce. But so I just didn't know where did I need to start. I've had him evaluated through a psychiatrist. So I've had that done. I didn't know if I still needed his doctor to maybe do something, or if it's something else, and then which one should we be shooting for, the SSI or the SSDI?
How old is the child?
18.
Has he worked before?
An adult.
Yeah.
No, never.
Is he still in school?
Yes, he's completed 12th grade, but we're trying to get him. The school suggested a work source thing, but he's too young for it. So he'll do some type of schooling until he's of age to be able to start that. But just thinking for the future, because we know, whenever that time comes, because we're not here forever, that he will be able to sustain himself once we're not here anymore.
So what you're going to want to do is you're going to file the child for SSI benefits and DAC benefits, SSI benefits, and disabled adult child benefits. Those are going to be the 2 programs you're going to file the child for. If the child ever works and earns enough money and pays enough quarters of coverage, then you'll also file him for SSDI benefits. But as of right now, SSI and DAC benefits are going to be your best bet.
Okay.
Perfect.
Would I need medical, something medical to back that up?
Oh, yeah.
Doctor or?
Yeah, you'll have medical documentation, you'll build the claim, and then, basically do what you can to win it. But yeah, the bottom line here is you're going to go ahead and, build the claim just as you would anything else, and need medical evidence, vocational evidence, administrative evidence, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this. I've never heard anybody ask for something like this before, so I figured I'd call in.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, sounds good, good sir. You have a wonderful, wonderful night, and we'll rock and roll from there, Yeah.
All right. You too. Thank you.
Thank you, good sir. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay, so that's going to be our last call for the night. Bottom line is this. I want to do a huge shout out to Lynn Wilson, who did a $50 donation. That's absolutely amazing, and I really, really appreciate it. She said, "You are such an asset to the disabled, sir. Thank you for all you do, sir." And I super appreciate that too, because this is a tough, tough industry. Basically, you're not in control over what the government ultimately says or does with disability claims. They have the final say. And at the end of the day, it's one of those things where you have to do a lot and get paid very little. So it can be quite frustrating. But at the same time, I really, really do appreciate that. I'm not sure why the shirt is so massively unbuttoned, but bottom line is this. I really do appreciate that. With that said, everybody, I will catch you probably tomorrow or Thursday. I do have to go work with the homeless tomorrow in East Colonial at the Samaritan Resource Center. I will catch you all a little bit later. You have a wonderful, wonderful night, and we will rock and roll from there. All right. Attorney Walter Hnot, I will catch you a little bit later. Please remember to like and subscribe. If I helped you, please consider going to Google, typing in Disability Resolution Law Firm or Disability Resolution Florida, throwing some stars up there on the company profile. With that said, I'm going to go and head to bed. And Mondays and Thursdays, we do these live sessions. If you want a consultation, where you just ask me some questions like this. Do the Monday or Thursday. If you want to ask me a specific tough situation, we do 30-minute and 1-hour consultations with the mini contract below. And if you're looking for disability representation, I know I don't usually advertise on these videos, but you just call me during the 9 to 5 at the law firm. All right. I'll catch you a little bit later. You have a wonderful night. Attorney Walter Hnot. Thanks so much. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. All right. Bye-bye.